Hi, y'all. Welcome to Tips, Tricks, and Oops. I'm Therese Gore.
And I'm Sanford Alexander.
And I'm Eston Talavera. This is December 17th, 2012.
Today, I'd like to demonstrate something and tell you a little bit of how we got there. A number of weeks ago, I was up at the Kansas School for the Blind at the Kansas Association for the Education and Rehabilitation of the Blind and Visually Impaired.
I gotta say, I love that name. I'm so glad they named that KEAR.
Yeah, well, that works. Which is the state affiliate of AER, which is its abbreviated form, which is the professional organization in the field of blindness made up of rehabilitation professionals and educators and so on. Well, we also, after our conference, the Kansas Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired, and yes, we like long names in Kansas, I don't know what to tell you about that.
That's true, that's very true.
Had their conference and convention and annual meeting right after ours. We kind of linked, we called it a bridge lunch on Friday afternoon, so you went from the end of one conference to the beginning of the second conference, and we shared exhibitors, and they exhibited for all of the rest of Friday afternoon, which was really a lot of fun. And I had an opportunity to go around and spend some time in the exhibit hall, and one of the companies that was exhibiting was Envision America, that are located in Illinois, and they've developed several products. The one that's most commonly known about, I think, is the IDmate. And another product that they've been working on for a number of years is called ScripTalk. And ScripTalk is an audible prescription reader. I was involved in the project when the VA years ago was looking at adopting a talking prescription reader system in the VA. And after looking at a number of devices and a lot of the normal up and down that you go through in a large organization, the VA selected ScripTalk and they started issuing units. Well, it worked great, it still works great, and for blind veterans it's a wonderful piece of equipment, but it was not available on a commercial basis for civilians, and we kind of hoped that one day it would be. And I talked with Amanda Tolson and asked her if there was anything I could do to help get ScripTalk into Wichita at Dillon's, which is a Kroger store now, because that's my pharmacy. And she said, well, we do have them coming into some of the Walmarts in Wichita. And I said, yes, but I don't shop at Walmart, and I'd like to have Dillon's adopt it. Matter of fact, I'd like to see all of the pharmacies adopt it. What could I do to help? And she said, well, we certainly would appreciate if you would be able to meet with the pharmacist to see what happens. And I said, well, you know, we also do a podcast, and maybe we could do a podcast with this to share with anybody that might not have seen it yet. Small box, Eston, you've seen this.
Yes, it's
just so that everybody
small box.
It's a small box.
There's a Braille label on the top. I think it's the top right corner, sort of, and it says ScripTalk Station, and then it has the 800 toll-free number on there.
You open up the box and take out the unit. Eston, here is the.
Not well. So I have the unit in my hand. You have the earbud slot, so you can have privacy with this. You have the power. You have the power connector, I'll call it, and then on the front here you have the power button.
And don't turn it yet.
Okay, I'm not going to turn it yet.
And on the top.
On the top, you have 3 buttons. This really couldn't be easier. But you have 2 arrow buttons and a read button. Now, Therese, I'm going to hand this to you.
Okay.
Because me and Sanford had a question
Okay.
before the podcast.
Mhm.
Those two buttons on the side of the middle button,
Yes?
are they color coded?
No, they are not.
So there's not a difference between the colors?
There is not a difference in the colors. What you've got is one has the arrow, depending if you have the buttons facing directly towards you.
Mm-hmm.
The one on the left, the arrow is pointing down.
You're right.
So
And
it's
that's
facing
tactile,
this
but
way, yeah.
Yeah,
And
that's
then the other
color.
one is pointing up, but there is no color.
Okay.
And the,
So
and
there's
the
no
middle,
color difference.
and the middle
Okay.
button is an oval.
All right.
But if you're looking at it,
And then the
That's
other
the single,
thing is, here's the prescription bottle.
uh-huh,
This is the sample.
okay.
And see if you can find the chip on that label.
It's on the bottom, correct? 'Cause I'm
Did you
not
feel it in
finding
there?
Anything. There is a.
You can kind of feel a little bit of an
It feels like
indentation.
there's an indentation, like for the natural shape of the bottle, but then there might be just a teeny tiny bit of a chip
Let's turn it up
on the bottom.
on this side, and it's right here.
Okay. Yeah, that's where I was.
Is that where you were?
Yeah.
And
that's where I was
Eston
thinking.
found it before.
Mhm.
The way this device works, and I'll explain it and then we'll demonstrate it, because the demonstration is really simple.
The demonstration is going to take all of 30 seconds.
This is a regular bottle. The pharmacy would use its regular software, which is one of the improvements ScripTalk made from the VA generation, where you used to have a special printer at the pharmacy to print the label. Now they only use their software, their database. They only print the label that they now print anyway. And then on this bottom it's a circle with that little embedded chip in it that gets put onto the bottom of whatever bottle or prescription. Might be a box, right?
Yeah.
So whatever the container that the prescription comes in. So the pharmacy, instead of needing a special printer, is now only using their printer, their database. They're printing the one label that they always printed, but they run your information that's going onto that label through another application package that transmits that information onto the chip.
Mhm.
And once that's done, you now have your bottle of medicine, and the device, as we said before, has very, very few controls. There's the read button, and then the up arrow and the down arrow, left and right of that, or right and left of it, and this wheel on the front, and when you turn it, it clicks. And by the way, this runs on power or on 2 AA batteries, and I've got the batteries in now. So let's hope for demonstration purposes that the batteries are still working. So we'll
Nice.
turn it
Very
on,
good.
We'll have to turn it up.
and it's beeping. I've turned it up.
ScripTalk station ready.
All right, it says ScripTalk station ready.
So it's a nice loud speaker too, if you notice.
Well,
It's
and
a-
that, I turned it up, let's turn it up all the way.
Yeah.
No prescription information is available. Please scan medication.
And I'm gonna lower it just a little to cut some of the excess noise out.
No prescription information is available. Please scan medication.
Now, all you need to do with the bottle is put it so that the chip is coming in contact
You have to hit the read button first.
and hit the read button.
Patient. John Smith. Medication. Amoxicillin, 250 milligram tablets. Instructions. Take 1 tablet 3 times daily with meals. Prescription date. May 2nd, 2012. Refills remaining. 0. Prescriber. Dr. William Samuels. To reorder this prescription, dial area code 309-555-1212. Prescription number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Warning. Important, finish all this medication, unless otherwise directed by prescriber. Take with food. Other information. Quantity. 30 tablets. Prescription expiration. May 2nd, 2013.
And that means it's done. Now, if there were
Other information.
parts of it,
Quantity. 30
I'm hitting the
tablets.
down arrow, and that
Prescription
moves me
expiration.
back.
Mm-hmm.
Other information.
And
Other
it brings
information.
you up through it.
And
Quantity.
that's, now let's
30
do double
tablets.
arrow.
Warning. Important. Prescription number. 1, 2, 3. To reorder this prescription,
So you
dial.
don't
So-
have
Area
to
code
go through the
309.
entire
You don't have to go.
prescription.
No.
One,
Now-
two,
And just listen to the
If you
parts
hit
you
the
want
oval
to.
button, that stops it immediately. Let's say
Mhm.
now, I wanted to know when the expiration date was. So we would put it back on
Patient. John Smith. Medication.
and run through it.
Amoxicillin. 200. Instruction. Prescription. Refills remaining. 0.
So that's
Prescriber.
pretty easy. Can
Doctor. William
Now,
Sanford.
let's say I wanted to know how to spell amoxicillin.
Uh-huh.
I don't know why anybody wants to learn how to spell amoxicillin. You hold the left arrow, which is the down arrow,
Voice
down,
speed adjustment. Use the up and down buttons to change the voice speed.
and now
Press the
those
read button to select this
buttons,
voice.
let's go
voice.
down.
Spell mode. Use this mode to spell out
Hit the-
information related.
Read button in the middle. And now let's put the prescription on. It might not, nope, it's not gonna read it.
It's not gonna read it. You have to read it.
Gotta hit
again.
scan again.
Patient. J. O. H. N. Patient. J. O.
Now, we don't
H.
wanna spell everything,
N.
so let's skip.
Space. Patient. Patient. Patient.
Yep.
J. Medication. A. M. O. X. I. C. I. L. L. I. N. Space.
Okay, so you could spell out tough medications. We wanna go back.
Spell mode. Use this mode to
And I can think of a reason you would
Voice-
want to spell it,
voice
because
speed adjustment.
I did notice when it said amoxicillin,
Mhm.
it said amoxicillin.
Mm-hmm.
So if your synthesizer isn't going to pronounce the medication correctly, which some of them do, all of us who have experience with synthesizers know that they
Mhm.
aren't necessarily going to pronounce everything correctly, then that spell mode is going to be handy.
It's gonna be very handy. Now, I just slowed it down a little bit from what it was.
Mhm.
Patient. John Smith. Medication.
So you can make it go faster.
250
slower.
milligram
That's nice.
tablets. Instructions. Take
So-
1 tablet 3 times. Instructions.
Oh.
Medication. Amoxicillin. 200.
I thought it said amoxicillin pretty
It
nicely.
did that. It did those
It
two
did.
times, but
So-
the first time it said amoxicillin.
So it's a very simple device,
Mhm.
and it is, I think, I've been an advocate for a audible prescription reader for many, many years. Was very happy to be involved in the VA project, very happy to see it adopted, and really want to see this moved out into the civilian world where we all could benefit from it.
Oh,
'Cause
definitely.
what
Yeah.
it does is you don't have to worry about all of the warnings, the information, the prescription that you have to take with food, the prescription you have to take without food, the one that you take 2 hours, 4 hours, 6 hours, whatever. It's very hard to have a system that really keeps all of the variables under control.
Mhm.
And if you're looking to have independence with your medication, this is, in my mind, the best thing I've ever seen that does that.
Oh, absolutely.
I would have to definitely agree.
Absolutely.
One thing I would say is though, how long do the AA batteries last? Would you want to take this on a vacation with you?
You have the power cord, and I think if you're going to be gone for a extended period of time, it probably would be a good idea to take that. This is not very big.
It's not very heavy.
It's not very heavy. It's what, about 6, 7 inches at its widest.
Yeah.
It's got a flat back end and a rounded front end, but there's nothing. It has a bunch of little dots around in a semicircle around the speaker grid, and that's kind of an orientation of where you put the bottle. But you
Yes.
notice it picked it up very quickly.
Oh yes, definitely.
And actually, within 6, 8 inches above, if you're holding the bottle above the reader, it'll pick, as long as it picks up that. And if you know standard, on all your bottles, it's going to be on the bottom, and on the box, you're going to have to know to look for that little round extra label with that little bump on it.
Mhm.
That,
yeah, I can see it being a little bit more tricky on the box. I'd like to see where it would be on the box myself, because I get colds a lot. Are they only doing this with prescription medication, or would they do this like with Dayquil or NyQuil or something like that?
Prescription medication.
Okay. Because I could see uses for it with like some things like Dayquil or any
Well,
other
Dayquil-
cold
Off the
medicine,
shelf-
or
off
off the
the
shelf
shelf
medicine.
medication.
Well, most of that, and we'd like to do an ID Mate demo and another
Correct.
podcast. That would have that in its database,
That's
I'm
true.
pretty sure.
Okay,
That's
yeah,
true.
yeah,
So
you're
Yes,
right.
Yes.
You're right.
But this is really good for management of your medications, because they're all different shapes, they're all different colors. The shapes kind of help, but I've got a couple that I take that are both teeny weeny pills, and one teeny weeny and another teeny weeny. It doesn't make
Well-
much difference.
Well, the market is huge because you've got folks with macular degeneration. You've got folks with maybe if you have a palsy or a neuropathy that can't hold their hand straight, and there's a large plate here to
Yeah.
put your medication over, so you don't have to put it in one specific spot. You've also got folks with dyslexia,
mean, that's a
memory
huge one, too.
issues,
Mhm.
memory
Yeah.
issues, any kind of dementia that might be coming up. This is going to hit a wide market.
And
Wide.
another problem we used to have with some of the veterans, when the labels were on, the chip was on the round label,
Mhm.
then you had to roll it around to catch it.
Yeah.
But for
Mhm.
people that were using CCTVs,
Mhm.
sometimes getting focus on the label, because it was a circular label
Right.
falling
Yeah.
away from the center point,
Mhm.
were very hard to read.
Mhm.
So even though the print was large enough
Mhm.
to be able to see, and the CCTV made whatever size print viewable, it wasn't always controllable.
Yeah.
So this actually is working much better than the older versions did,
Mhm.
and I can't wait to the day when I get it into our pharmacy, so that I will be able to have control of all my prescriptions.
Oh, I know, definitely.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a really nice thing that we'll be able to do
Mhm.
once we get all of the kinks figured out, and once we get through the process of figuring out how to get them into the stores.
Mhm.
But I think that this isn't just a device for the blind or visually impaired. I think that it has a wider market.
Oh, yes.
Once
Oh,
people
yeah.
realize that, it'll probably go into consumers a lot faster.
Mhm.
And the nice thing about the way they've developed it, the incentive for the individual to use it, aside from having freedom and independence and safety in managing your own medications, which is huge, the reader station is available to the individual at no charge.
Oh.
The labels cost $1.50 a piece, and that's part of how Envision America is going to make its money.
Mhm.
And the other part is the pharmacy pays for training support when they install the equipment, but they don't have to buy that special printer anymore. And the benefit to the pharmacy is they have a customer who's safer than you are without that information. And that additional money that that label's costing, I mean, I can't even think of, you get a generic that's 98 cents, if that's your cost.
Mhm.
It's a $8, $9, $10 prescription. And how many do you get like that anymore?
Right.
You only
Right.
need a few of the bigger ticket items that the pharmacy is going to be able to recoup their costs. And like it turns out, Eston, that Teresa and I happen to go to the same pharmacy.
Mhm.
Huh.
And our pharmacy, I don't know about you, but I'm supporting mine.
Well, yes.
You supporting yours?
Oh, yes. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
They've paid for this equipment in no time, just on the two of us.
Can I ask you this? Yeah, absolutely. Can I ask you this, though? You say this device is free of charge, and then the pharmacy would just charge that label cost on top of your prescription charge.
No, they don't
No,
charge you.
they don't?
No.
They don't,
No,
okay.
you pay whatever you pay.
How is it that we become eligible for the free device then? What do we have to do to get that device? Can I just walk into the pharmacy once they're offering it and say, I want a ScripTalk and I want that option? Or do I go to Envision America and say, I need the machine, and then they take it from there? How do you know the process of how to do that?
I think that the process hasn't been fully worked out.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
the system hasn't been fully worked out.
Okay.
But as I understand it, in the Walmarts that are piloting a ScripTalk, basically you just present yourself
Okay.
and say, you know, I need the ScripTalk. They should know what you're talking about.
Okay.
And then provide the device.
So you would need.
Ultimately, it's a manageable cost for the pharmacy, and if you request it, they really shouldn't have a problem once they're in the program.
Okay, I didn't know if you needed to show documentation that said you had a need for it, or what, because some devices, when you can get them for free, you have to go through paperwork or whatever. That was what I was wondering about. But that'd be great if it was just something that easily accessible. That would be awesome, most definitely.
Well, I think this was a very good discussion on the ScripTalk unit. And I think that we'll end this for today, and we will close. I am Eston for Tips, Tricks, and Oops.
And I'm Sanford.
And I'm Therese. See ya.